Hi, everyone. Welcome to this new episode of Slow Down and Thrive. Once again, I'm also doing video here with my friend Chris. So if you're listening to this on a podcast app, then you can also watch us on YouTube. So I'm just going to make sure that I've got the right view here. There we go. There we are. Tech. Kim's got the tech.
Ew.
I've invited Chris as my friend here, and we love having projector chats. So I've invited him on the podcast because I love the format of talking to someone versus, just talking to myself. Also love that, but it's nice to have someone to bounce off, and we normally have these great chats about, life and slowing down and doing business in a different way. So just to quickly introduce Chris, and you can add, whatever you want, Chris. So Chris is an entrepreneur. He has an incredible business called Fox Wardrobes in Sydney, and he's been building that up for many years and has now basically exited mostly out of the business so he can have a really amazing lifestyle but still be supported by the business, and has been business coaching for many years and is now sort of making that his focus. I've also worked with Chris as a coach, and I really love his valuable insights. So yeah, it's just great to have a conversation with you. Welcome.
Thanks for having us
yeah,
and having a chat.
yeah. Yeah, I love our conversations that we have about just a new way of being, I would say. Like,
Yeah.
we're both from business backgrounds. I was doing the hustle and grind and working hard, and whilst I was in my business, figured out that my personal energy type meant that if I took the time to rest and I took the time to put systems in place and a lot of outsourcing and hiring incredible people, that the business actually grew because I had the energetic capacity to actually hold the energy of a business, right? Like, that's something
Yeah.
that people maybe don't necessarily get at first, is that your energy affects the blueprint of the business. So if you're tired, did you find this?
Yeah.
Like, if you're tired and you're like stressed,
Yeah.
like the business can't grow. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I know you have a lot of staff, and
And
you've kind of worked out the beauty of hiring people to do great things, right?
I feel that like there's culture as well. There's a hustle culture, and we're kind of taught that to to be successful, we need to be slogging ourselves, working hard,
Yeah,
and growing business and making more money, and then a bigger house, and then more money, and then bigger house again, and then an upgrade, and then a bigger car. It's like, when does it stop? And it's kind of like, I guess what me and you like to riff on is just like, there's another way. There's the energetics of the business. There's finding sort of your flow and the right relationship with and balance between action and rest and nurturing and self-care and talking to the entity and understanding how the entity has can can be, if you be over responsible, you can hold more of what you need to. So I totally resonate with what you're saying, that it's kind of, and we're both projectors, so
mm,
we both have a need for rest, and that actually doing less can lead to multiplied results. Just choosing the few things that have big impact rather than just being busy, busy, busy. And that's why I think in so many networking business groups, and I don't have this conversation with many people. Like, me and you get it, but there's not
yeah.
that many business
Well,
people that are
I think
willing to choose chill.
yeah, I think it's maybe it's just my bubble, but I think there is definitely the wider awareness starting to kind of happen. Like, I think that kind of real, like, I think it really came from New York as well, like that real like fucking hustle and like
Yeah,
get it hard. And then you got all the like finance bros and tech bros kind of going, grind. And we
yeah.
kind of picked that up as well. But I think we're kind of swinging the pendulum back the other way of going, it's not sustainable for a lot of people. I think there are
Mm,
definitely some people out there that thrive on the go, go, go. That's their
yeah,
energy type. And
Yeah.
I just don't think there has been much room for the other energy type like me who
Yeah.
needs rest and a lot of like recuperation. And I just remember the first kind of couple of times I was able to go on a holiday with my business,
Mm.
so from my business,
Yeah.
and had incredible like studio manager sort of looking after things, and I was still at that point where I had to sort of touch in every day, but just to have that space to rest. And every time I did this, we had all these huge sales come through.
Mm.
I was
Yeah.
like, at
Yeah.
first, I was like,
Yeah.
huh. And then it
Yeah.
became such a pattern. I was like, oh. So that was one of the first key things for me where I was just,
Yeah.
oh, the more I step into my own energy, which is very slow, I'm definitely slower
Yeah.
than a lot of even projectors, um,
Yeah.
the more the business actually attracted more. It was more magnetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What for you was it that like, because I felt that I didn't know about projector and energy types when I first started to realize, whoa, when I
Me
take a
either.
holiday,
Yeah, me either.
things are epic, right? Like it's like I get my best insights when I'm in the Maldives manifesting my fucking dream 30th holiday kind of thing. But what was it for you that kind of had that you that had you decide to go, oh, actually, I want to slow down. I don't want to push beyond, and just go for more, 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 but actually go, okay, can less be more? Because like I feel
Mhm.
like it has to be a definite, like there has to be like a redefining of belief systems and what is nourishing and what you value to choose this path that we're on. Because I feel like that like for me it was like realizing I want to have more joy, play, adventure, fun. Like that's also as valuable as making more money. And then I started to realize that actually money's an energy as well. And so when I'm more nourished, actually things work better. So there was this like compounding effect to that. I'd like to know like what was it that had you shift your beliefs, is like start to go, hey, I want to be nourished and live in this way and do business in this way.
It was really gradual at first because like I have that value system now where I prioritize feeling good over like making lots more money. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
and I don't think those two are separate, by the way. Like just to be clear
yeah,
to everyone, like you can
yeah,
be following the feeling good, pleasure, joy, bliss, and
yeah,
still make lots of money if that's your thing. So
yeah,
when we're talking about less, for me, less doesn't necessarily mean less money. It just
yeah.
I found now that
Actually, I think like my clarification on that is I believe that less is more. So like you'll have more abundance, more joy, more money, more fun, more play.
yeah,
Like I actually think it's aligned action that multiplies output. I actually think when we're happier and more joyful, because the currency is like the money is like an energy of like what that's the thing that we use as currency in this paradigm we live in. And as our heart opens, we magnify more into our field. And I believe that we will earn more by
mm,
doing what we love and feeling nourished and feeling happy. Just
yeah,
to clarify that.
yeah,
So what was it, when was it that happened for
yeah.
you? I'm
So
actually,
I think at first it was I've always been slowed down by my physical body. At
yeah,
first, just um, I had my product business, Wheatbags Love, and I'd also opened a retail store at the same time. So I found myself running these two full-time businesses and just being tired, just being like
yeah,
tired.
yeah,
And so I really had already learned how to outsource the work for the Wheatbags business because I actually moved from Melbourne, where my studio was, to Byron Bay, and so I physically wasn't able to be there. So I'd already kind of been forced to work out systems where I wasn't around.
yeah, nice, yeah.
So then when I moved back to Melbourne and opened the
But
store,
see, that was a decision you made, right? To move to Byron. So you
no, it
forced
just
you
happened. It
it just
wasn't a decision.
how
No.
did that happen?
I'm pretty sure I've told
Oh,
this story before. It was like,
yeah,
uh,
yeah, you got
yeah,
caught
just
in the
to,
COVID thing. You
no,
went
this
on a
was the
trip.
first time I moved to Byron back in 2016. So
Yeah.
I was going for a 2 week holiday, and I had a very clear voice. I wasn't listening to my higher self at this point, but a very clear voice say, "You're going to move to Byron." And I was
Yeah.
like, "No, I'm not. I have a business. I have my dog. I have my house."
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, short story, all these coincidences and synchronicities happen where I just literally within 3 weeks had moved to Byron Bay. And so
Yeah.
all the problems
Boom.
got solved, and,
Yeah.
and I was there. And so that's when it really forced me to remove myself physically from the business because I
See,
actually,
I love that. There's why I kind of honed in on that is I feel that's gold for people is like a lot of people like may hear the call to move to Byron Bay. Like I
yeah,
was doing a coaching session with a guy last week and he wants to move, but there's all blocks. And it's
yeah,
like, but actually when you take aligned action, the problems get solved. And it's like, but it takes us to step into it. And so you stepped into that and
yeah,
then boom, you're in Byron. And now it's like, shit, I've burned the bridges. I got to sort my business out now.
yeah. And it was like I had this attitude with the universe sometimes because it was such a clear nudge, but it didn't feel like it was coming from Kim, the ego personality Kim. It
Yeah,
was the real divine, like you're moving to Byron Bay. And I
yeah,
got really recalcitrant. I was like, oh yeah, you show me then.
yeah,
I'm not gonna
yeah,
like I'm not moving unless you make it really easy. And I get all these things
yeah.
just happened to make it really easy. And I was like, damn
Yeah.
it. like like a house just appeared. I met this
Yeah,
beautiful artist and she just happened to go, oh, I'm trying to rent out this studio on my property. And then I was
yeah.
like, oh, and anyway, just all these magical things happened.
But isn't that gold? Because it's like you asked for it to be easy
Yeah.
and the universe delivered and like your higher self like without talking because you talk to your higher self all the time. Like I know
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you tuned into that now. But like back then to have that level of trust and take that step, even though you were challenging the universe, like that's the step, right? Like and then that
Yeah.
muscle builds then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And and so just to come back to your previous question,
Yeah.
the original desire to slow down and was just purely I had a lot on my plate and I just
Yeah.
got to this point of I have so many balls in the air. I don't care if I drop some of them or all of them. Like it just
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
I kept
Yeah.
saying to my staff. I was like, I've got all these balls and I cannot
Yeah. Yeah.
juggle them all. So I just
Yeah.
came to this place of, oh well, something's got to drop,
Yeah.
and so it was kind of like this forced, but everything didn't drop, like everything.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was me clinging on to what I thought needed to be done, which
Yeah.
comes back to that conditioning, right? We're
Yeah. Yeah.
conditioned
Yeah.
to think that things have to be a certain way, we have to
Yeah.
act a certain way.
Yeah.
Um, and so it was kind of I just was following instinct and impulse, and then really since I sold my two businesses in 2022, it's really been a reevaluation of values because like that building those businesses was all about achieving, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was in like I want to prove to people, that I'm achieving things, um
Yeah.
and I was just like, yeah, I can, I can do this
Exactly.
and I can
Yeah.
build it. And then when I sort of did that and sold the business and then was like, okay, what next? It's I mean, look, that is still there as a little thread. I only discovered that a few weeks ago. I was like, there's that achieving thread still,
Yeah.
but it's less. So it's more about
Yeah.
what what can I create that feels good and is in alignment, that I know the universe is backing me on. It's not the ego going, I want to do this because I want to look good. Uh,
Yeah.
it's like, where is my soul wanting me to go?
Yeah.
And following the little. So it's just like any skill. You like follow. Do you
Exactly.
find that? Like, how
Yeah.
did you first come across all of this?
So there's like a lot in what you just said that I really love because I resonate with like I had three businesses. I had Fox Wardrobes, Curtains and Blinds, Chalazy. I had like all this balls in the air going on and I was trying to grow them all at once. Spread tooth thing, doing multiple things okay or average, but once I realized, I can just nail one thing and do it really well, all of a sudden I cleared out those other balls and my one of my things was I did a journey like a Native American medicine wheel process where we went out into nature, and then I actually spent a day in nature and called in answer from nature, and a March fly came and told me to step out of the other businesses and focus on Fox, and it was such a beautiful message. And that's a long story, but it was like clear boundaries. And I find a lot of I receive a lot of communications from nature, and so it was like, yeah, it was an awakening through necessity of being burning out and overwhelmed. And what I noticed was like, I feel like the hustle culture, like you can just push through and you can keep earning and create more material wealth, but it's like, actually, like for me, the signs were like it was like pushing a boulder up a hill. So when I when I stopped, when I started to listen to those signs, I got taken on the easeful path. Doesn't mean it's easy, because like challenges will come up, which are more around, like you said, like around what's your values, like what's my beliefs. Like I found that I went on a journey of inner work, which then helped me to rewrite my own belief systems. Like I found that as a child, I'd been brought up in a family and society, like I'm getting all of the societal beliefs, and I'm like, hey, no, I'm going to write my own. And so once I looked at it, I started to rewrite, like, what do I value, and why was I going and trying to achieve for to be like worthy, and it was like achieving had me get love from my dad or my family or whatever it was that was just inside of me, and that was like needing that because of childhood stuff, like whatever, the inner child. So I went
You.
on this, yeah. So this work was when I realized, it was like, whoa, when I take space, the first step was just like hearing that little voice that's quiet and going and taking a little bit of space, and then getting the gold in the space, like having some like time in nature, feeling nourished, getting insights, or that problem in my business, that would be way easier to solve like this. And then it kind of became a journey, really, and to the point now that it's like, yeah, it's a lot, it's a way of being, and it's like written into my lifestyle, into my belief systems, to the point that when I'm nourishing myself and I'm coming from that place of heart and care, everyone in my business shines. Like we got a team of 45, and um in this recent time where I've stepped back, I just went around Australia for 6 months, and it was like the entity of the business told me it wanted more of a flat management style, like a more of a collective leadership structure. And it's just like by following that intuitive, the spirit, the higher self, like it just makes it so much more fun. And like everything's more easeful and flow. And the team are just shining. So it's like, yeah, I just find it's like as I do this work, the inner work and the listening to spirit and the guiding and feeling that multidimensional reality that we're in,
Mm.
things just go way better. So
And
that's just reinforced it.
can I just say, I love that, there's a lot of people in thinking this kind of way who are like, body workers and coaches and, service providers. And you
Yeah.
work with a bunch of blokes who build wardrobes.
Yeah, yeah,
And I just
I
love that
know.
you're at the top, kind of
Yeah,
like thinking this way and kind of like implementing
yeah.
this. And like, yeah, I just
And
think it's
they're just like, what the heck? Like, I'm like, trust the flow. That email came at 11:11. I think that's a sign. And he's like full, like one of the lead team is, we call him Big Fox, just super blokey dude. I love him. Like he has heaps of heart, and he's such a good leader, and he's growing. And he's now going, hey, trust the flow, guys. Like that job moved out. There's a reason. Let's try, but I think actually something's gonna happen. And then like the day will come, and then someone will be sick or whatever, and it just won't quite work. And then he's like, hey, that's why that job moved out. You see the flow? So like these guys are like fully starting to embody some of those lessons. No, I wouldn't say like all, they're not speaking to the entity yet, but different. like a lot of conversations that I do have with the leadership team, it's like kinesiology work, inner work, like we're putting these things first. And I really like them to take the time to nourish that part of themselves. So whenever someone wants to do that, we're in support of it. And I feel like that has the team and the culture shine. I think the success of, like, I hear a lot of business people building a business and then exiting, but I don't see that many who have built a team and just sort of step to the side and watch that thrive. And so what I think that is, and it's just my hallucination, I don't know, but I think it's just because it's actually really hard to let go. It's really hard to trust, and especially in our, like, I'm talking in modern Western society where, like, there's trust issues, there's patriarchal domination, there's like survival of the fittest, like all these belief systems that
Yeah.
make it hard to trust other people. And it's like they're holding on and they can't let go. But it's like building a community within your business that we care for each other, and then having a level of like support and transparency where we're all aligned. Yeah, I've just found, yeah, it's not easy to let go, but it's possible, and it's an amazing lifestyle um once that, like watching them evolve too within the business, and then me stepping back and having more space. And now that's why I'm moving more into like coaching, mentoring others as well.
Yeah, and I think that's a really vital step for every business owner is that step to trusting others with tasks in the business.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
they're wearing all the hats. They're just, it's just them. Like I think a lot of coaching businesses, especially, it's usually just one person, right? Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
versus like something like your business or my business where you can't physically do the work. So
Yeah. Yeah.
you need to hire
Yeah.
other people. But
Yeah.
it's I think in all businesses, it's trusting that other people can do a good job and
Yeah.
that the business financially can support it. Because I
Yeah.
really think when people take the risk to hire a
Yeah.
second person, or that might be a virtual
Yeah.
assistant, that will pay for itself in the business that is attracted
Yeah.
through opening up space. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so I think that's an important thing. Is the
Yeah,
courage.
it's the pragmatic part or the practical part is like systems are really important. Like to have a business that because I feel like my team can lean into the system. So they know that they've got a structure that works and that they can lean into. And I think, like you said, it's not easy to take the step to invest in a person or any other resource in business, because it's like, is it going to work? Am I going to be able to grow into that capacity? But yeah, I've always found that when it comes from the right place, if I try to go, I've gone through periods where we grew to like 60 staff and we literally nearly blew up the business because it was more ego. It was like, want to be national, grow the biggest businesses, Fox, like take everything. And like everyone was burning out. The team are like, slow down, like you're pushing us too hard. And it was like, you just want more out of us. And so like when it was like ego driven and like for other yeah, the smaller self was going, hey, I'm trying to prove myself here. I found that it was much more painful. Whereas when it was coming from the right place, the steps could be taken, the systems can be built, there's support there. But it's like, yeah, it's important to have financial systems, have like,
Mm.
um, employment contracts, stuff that just makes it clear, set boundaries. There are practical steps that need to happen. But I find that Spirit is also very practical. So it's like ask the questions, find the support, like that's a part of it as well.
Yeah. And what's your how do you kind of feel the difference between I normally say pushing uphill, but let's say pushing the boulder uphill.
Yeah.
It's like because I'd often say, when we're in our ego trip and we're forcing our business to look a certain way or to, we're just trying to do something that isn't aligned and it's hard.
Yeah.
And so that's when I said
Yeah.
we're pushing the boulder uphill. How do you find that feeling versus like what does flow generally look like for you when you
Yeah.
feel like you're actually, I don't know, skiing down the slope?
Yeah. It's like, so pushing the boulder up a hill is like just think like often like I use my team as a reflection too. If you don't have a team, it's kind of like it's just it from a feeling sense, it's like it's a bit of a struggle. It's like constantly kind of like things are breaking, stuff's not working. Um, Whereas like the challenge of flow is more like things are working, stuff's easeful, it comes into your field, but actually I'm a bit afraid of doing that. It's out of my comfort zone. It's more like a step in the development or the expansion of me and the consciousness around me, like the thing that I'm creating. And so that's like flow with challenge. Whereas when it's like the I'm in the wrong path, just stuff keeps breaking. It's like I'm pushing through. I'm like, no, I'm gonna make it go there
I will
anyway.
get this done.
Yeah, yeah. I remember I heard Oprah say once, I thought it was really cool. It was like, she goes, once I just let go of the oars and I let the stream take my boat, life just became abundant and easeful. Like, and it kind of has that similar feeling.
Mm,
And I did a posting in my school the other day because I had an opportunity come up, and I feel like flow can also be no. And the post was about like I had an opportunity come, but it was like my sense of the opportunity was that it would take my energy in another direction. And actually, the lesson for me was to say no and hold boundaries. So there, the constant listening. And I
mm,
had a bunch of nature signs that supported me on that decision. But it's like, so there, like everything's happening for you for a reason. And it's in this reality that I'm creating and that you're creating, there is a direction of flow, and it's like that's for the highest and best.
mm.
And sometimes the stream can try to like go into a little eddy that's going to be like a pain. And it's like, hey, let's say no to that and just keep the flow channeling up this mainstream because it's like much nicer this way.
Yeah, yeah. And something like I learn a lot through painting is
Yeah.
that like not thinking the outcome's going to look a certain way. So
Yeah,
like you
yeah.
think the river's heading, you know, to Sydney, for example. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm
yeah,
on the
yeah.
river and it's heading to Sydney. And all
Yeah,
of a sudden it starts veering off to Canberra. And you're like, wait
yeah,
a minute. Like, no,
yeah.
I'm going to Sydney. And
I'm going to city.
you try to force,
Yeah,
well, yeah, that's me with painting. I go, oh, I know where this painting's going. And I start
yeah,
thinking I know. And then all of a sudden, if I'm following the impulses correctly, it starts to go in a different direction. And I
yeah,
go, oh, crap. Okay.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then I go,
yeah,
oh, it's so much better. I thought it was
yeah,
this, but actually through just trusting those impulses, it's actually this thing.
yeah,
And it's so
yeah,
much better. Like, if we go back
yeah. I
to
love
the
that.
analogy,
Yeah,
this destination is so much
yeah,
better. But I think people get stuck because they might have an initial intuitive thing and then their
yeah,
mind creates the story and then they go, oh, that's what it is. And then they try real hard to stick to that,
yeah,
not listening to the updates. And the
yeah.
update,
Exactly.
it
Yeah,
wasn't quite this, it's now this. And
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I feel like it's a really important point is like letting go of what the outcome should look like
Mm,
because I feel like that can create suffering in the process too, in terms of like it's like, oh no, I want it to be this way, and then it's painful because it's not the way you wanted it to be. And that reminds me, like we took over this nursery here, you're a bit aware of that. It's like we did a surrender experiment, and I thought, oh, it's gonna be a retreat center and it's going to be this business is going to make money and we're going to turn that around and that's going to fuel the development of the land. And then all of that wasn't what it was. We had to shut the business down, the nursery. We gave all the plants away. I lost like 300 grand. But then the lesson I got there was like an incubator to literally catalyze my other business to a whole nother level.
mm,
And that for me was like, oh, I thought it was going to be this, and then now, but the unfold, I'm still on this land now, but it's like it's still in its unfolding. But the lesson that I got from that was totally not what I thought. I didn't think I'd be bringing that back to Fox, but it was where it went,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I think if you got the impulse to buy this beautiful piece of land that you're on that also happened to be a bromeliad nursery, and
Yeah,
some people, yeah, like would be like, yes, that's because that's what we're doing. But
yeah,
the
yeah,
universe is like, no, it's it's something
and
completely different. And
yeah,
I think that's why moving to Byron the first time um worked so well, because I didn't care about the outcome. It
yeah,
would have been very
yeah,
different if I was in Melbourne and very determined to move to Byron Bay, and I'd been dreaming
yeah,
about it, envisioning it,
yeah,
and going, you then get to get stuck on ideas of how it would look.
yeah,
And then I'd get scared if things weren't looking, when I
yeah.
was looking for houses, there was a lot of just dodgy ads out there. But because I
Yeah,
literally did not care, and I was like, oh, I can stay in Melbourne, that's fine. It's like
yeah,
the non-attachment, right? A lot
yeah,
of
exactly.
practices talk
Yeah,
about the
yeah,
non-attachment. It's like, yes,
yeah,
sure, but also if it
yeah,
doesn't work, I don't care. And so then it
yeah,
could flow without my um, input controlling it, going, oh no, it's this, and fear getting in the way. And
yeah, yeah. I got a question for you. How do you find, so knowing that slowing down and is thriving,
mm.
that's your thing. Has it been challenging slowing down and staying in that slower pace for you?
Yeah, I think this is why I am doing this, because it's my gosh, what's that quote where your challenge is your medicine, something like that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You know what I you'll know that
yeah,
quote. So
yeah,
this is my challenge, and that's why
yeah,
I'm learning so much about it, and I'm still talking about it for, like, I reckon it's been like 7 8 years now of really
yeah,
being in the conflict between wanting to do a lot and the intuitive desire to slow down.
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
that pull is still there. It's way less. If it was 100%, 8 years ago,
yeah,
it's now like probably 20%. And
yeah,
I know how to wrangle all the different parts that are involved,
yeah, yeah,
the because for some people, not doing a lot like I am is could be fear, could be procrastination. So for me, I examine really a lot, being like, oh my god, am I not taking this particular action that I think my mind thinks I should do? Is it because, am I lazy? Am I just
yeah,
avoiding
yeah, yeah,
things?
yeah,
Is it
yeah,
trauma? Like, all this stuff. And it just keeps coming back to, it's such an intuitive thing. My spirit wants me to rest a lot, to be slow. And it's actually my mind that's got the trauma and the
yeah,
conditioning, because
yeah,
it's determined to be safe. It's determined
yeah,
to be in control.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's the drive that's like, oh, fuck, we need to do more. We need to do more. We need to do more, which I'm
yeah,
constantly
yeah,
kind of reining
yeah,
in, because it's
yeah,
not the impulse. But then
yeah,
I'll have
yeah,
a day, like, geez, I had a day yesterday where I just did all these things because it was in alignment. Like, and I felt
yeah,
so good. I did a whole bunch of admin. I, created this event that I'm working on, and I painted this great painting session and got all these things done. So
yeah,
it's like, I'll have days like that. And then I'll have
yeah,
a day where I just need to lie down the whole day.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And that
And
can be a
that's
struggle
honoring,
for some people.
yeah, and that's kind of honoring the aliveness and your spirit, like what is right for you in that moment. So
Yeah.
it's coming more into presence with, yeah, what's happening in the now for you. I feel that like you're also in a construct that I know
Mm.
you said you got a lot of circles that they're kind of more into this, but when I see like Alex Hormozy, Tom Bilyeu, like these guys that have got massive followings, and it's all about like hustle. There's what's that? There's that other guy, and he's like 10x it, man, like do 10 times more calls, 10 times. I did 10 times flying a private jet. I got 10 times more sales because I did 10 times more phone calls. And like, like, I feel in our model, there is times where that happens when it feels good. Like, it's like the aligned action is like, whoa, I need to support my team to do this now because that's important. Or I'll go, there's a phone call. I'm feeling like, oh, I need to check in with a couple of the leaders. And then it's like, boom, it's the perfect time. It's exactly what they needed in that moment and the support. And it's like, it doesn't mean it's no to effort or action or doing. It's more about doing when it feels right and it's like
Yeah.
true. So, like, right relationship with self, business, land, community. And I feel like for me, it's like rewriting the program because I've been taught. My dad was like, "Man, I worked, I worked 8 days a week," and I was like, "What do you mean you worked 8 days a week? There's only 7 days." And he's like, "Yeah, I worked 7 days plus Thursday night, so like I worked 8 days a week. I didn't have a holiday for 10 years." And like this is what they came for, and it was their reality at the time, that generation. But that also gets passed down because it's like through the lineage and through the beliefs that are created. So when I slow down and thrive, my those beliefs that were in there, I've had to like really work on going, what's my truth right now? Like, what do I need? Do I need to sit with, because that's a rewriting of the belief. When I'm relaxing, it's like I shouldn't be relaxing because I should be working. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like lazy or not supporting whatever the reason is behind the not supporting society. I should be more effective or whatever. It's like what's super cool, and you mentioned like projector style, human design, gene keys, all this stuff, which
Mm.
I'm really enjoying now, is like I feel like we're moving into a whole new paradigm that works with energy being the currency of like, hey, projectors are good at this. Let's let them do that. And they actually need more rest. Or manifestors have big ideas and they need to rest. And it's like, but allowing people's energy to be more fluid and flexible. And I don't think might not happen in our lifetime, but it's like a journey that we're starting to follow, like more of an aligned um path, like a aligned path, rather than a construct that's like it has to be this way.
Yeah. And I think that's actually probably closer. I feel like it's closer than I think it'll be in our lifetime. Like,
Yeah,
because yeah, I mean, there's reasons why generations think the way they have thought. Um, like I read this really fascinating thing recently about why the generation ahead doesn't like the way the generation before operated and vice versa, and because they
yeah, yeah,
went through certain things that shaped their values, and so
yeah,
we've inherited that style of you must work hard, otherwise you won't be able to support your family and you'll
yeah, yeah,
die broke in the street or whatever it is. and
yeah,
and it's realizing that there's other ways, and I think that energy coming in is really going to support us to actually feel safe in that, because we're still in a
yeah,
system where safety is derived out of safety. I mean, you can create the inner safety any time and very valuable, but
yeah,
outer safety is still created through that capitalist system. uh,
yeah,
that's what I think is changing, and
yeah,
yeah, just being able to feel and sort of sense what's coming. Um, so yeah, I think this will be more accepted, because I'm sure a lot of
yeah,
people would listen to our conversation and just be like, like good luck,
yeah,
guys. Like,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. So like it resonates with those that it resonates, and for other
yeah, yeah,
people, it's like, okay, well, yeah, just don't listen.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I think we're heading to
Because
interesting times.
there's talk that in 2026, 2027, there's going to be massive changes. You shared with me the Gene Key, Richard Rudd, and that I think it was
Yeah,
Mel
he calls
were
it
chatting.
dragonfly transformation. So like the difference
Yeah,
between um the environment that the dragonfly emerges into. So I don't know. I've got to listen to his talk again. I've listened to lots over the last few years. I think it's like a
Yeah.
wormy, sluggy kind of thing, like a
Yeah,
caterpillar.
yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
lives
And
in the
in
water.
that, it's a predator.
Like
It's
a
like,
lava in the
yeah, yeah,
water, and
yeah,
then it goes through this really rapid transformation, and sort of
yeah,
like in a day or two it's a dragonfly, and
yeah,
it's flying above the water. And
yeah,
so he's kind of saying, through the Gene Keys lens, which is part of like an extension of human design, that that's the difference between where we are now, where
yeah,
the worms in the water thinking that
yeah,
all there is, and then all
yeah.
of a sudden we're going to become aware there's a whole other world
World. Yeah,
with
yeah,
outside air flying
yeah, yeah,
world.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
I don't know what that looks like. Obviously,
yeah,
no one knows what that looks like. But yeah,
yeah,
interesting to see if
yeah.
2026, 2027, there's a lot of people talking about it through different frames. Like, everyone knows I love Pam Gregory. She's got an astrology point of view, which talks about this
Bam, yeah, that's it. Yeah,
from an astrology point of view. And Lee
yeah,
Harris talks about it from a future human. His guides have channeled a whole bunch of information. So I just kind of look at it with curiosity and go, okay,
yeah,
well, we're
yeah,
2025 into 2025. Let's just
yeah,
see what happens and go on the ride. Like,
yeah,
your
yeah,
experience life. And I'm sure there's going to
yeah,
be really a bunch of crazy stuff happening, um, out there,
yeah,
that we'll have to kind of ride through. But, it's all about also the inner journey. Just
yeah,
feels good. Feels fun.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I
Well,
feel like it's been like preparing, like in my personal thing, it feels like preparing for something that's coming in 2026, 2027. Like the, from like end of last year, I went to Egypt and I got that download that I need to step back from the business. So building out the leadership structure, listening, oh, it wants more of a flat structure. Like you wonder what that will transform into through that period of 2026 to 2027. Like if the whole model's gonna shift, there may be a whole restructure needed in how the business is and employment and how all that works, Like it just who knows at the scale of the shift. But personally, I feel I've had to kind of like take the step back. I got a baby on the way now. That's a huge shift for me. The baby's been telling me you need to start teaching. Spirit's been telling me I need to start teaching.
mm,
So like it feels like I've just started like this school community that I told you about, ready for 2026. Like it feels like, and when I watched that Richard Rudd, that Dragonfly video, I was like, oh, it feels like I'm literally like that energy is where like it's pulling me in a direction. So like that's a huge life change for me. I wonder what that looks like on a collective level, or like how much of a restructure could happen.
yeah, absolutely. Like I think there's going to be a lot of forward momentum. Apparently, I know
Yeah,
I've had a pretty like inward 2025, lots of like crazy stuff happening, and I know that that's
yeah,
everyone sort of seems to be collectively going through. So it feels like, yeah, next year will also involve a lot of like, yeah, finally clearing some stuff and being able to like take those steps that we want to take. And
yeah,
yeah, it's really exciting. But
yeah,
probably leave our chat here. I mean, we can talk a lot about 2026, 27 maybe next time. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, we'll leave that there because yeah, it's just so great to chat about uh, the different ways that business can flow, and yeah, what slowing down looks like for another person, not just me.
yeah,
So yeah, thanks for chatting.
yeah. Thanks.
So
It's fun.
yeah, thanks for listening, everyone. I'll put some links below so you can follow through some things that we've talked about, and I'll link to Chris's work as well. And yeah, if you have any questions, you can reach out on Instagram, Slow Down and Thrive. You can find us on YouTube by searching either Kim Stark or Slow Down and Thrive. And I hope you have a really amazing day wherever you are. Much love.